deliver his address.
Thank you, honorable ministers, Mr. Ambassador, Excellences, dear friends. So, at the end, you just reminded us what MEDEF International is. So, and I think the fact that you say it is more important than if I try to explain again. It's an organization that gathers first. I will tease you a little bit. MEDEF is an organization that combines CII and FICI. We are happy to have only one in France. And MEDEF International is the expression of what we do and to support the French enterprise, 70% of the private sector in France, externally. And I was just discussing the ambassador. It's truly a kind of a service provider to French company to help them getting acquainted and supported when they consider going international. And it's organized by big region. I happen to chair the French India Council, and there are other committees of the same kind. There have been some visits, if you remember, before the COVID, the head of MEDEF, Ruud Bézieux, came to India, but he didn't stop in Hyderabad. And usually, a lot of these French visits would do Delhi, Mumbai, and sometime Bangalore. So this time we chose to come to Telangana and Hyderabad. For me, it was easy to support. I just heard that for Capgemini, Hyderabad has now passed Mumbai in terms of headcounts. Hyderabad is the second city behind Bangalore, I must say, but with 30,000 people, we just passed Mumbai, where there are 29,000 people. So just about it, and some growth expected soon. So Telangana and Hyderabad are extremely important, fast-growing, relatively, I would say, easy to do business with, notably thanks to the government locally that is very business-oriented. So that was pretty easy to decide we would stop in Hyderabad. This delegation is composed of two streams. So Gérard heads one, and I leads the other one. Gérard leads the stream focused on sustainable cities, which has been, it was started as smart cities, and with a focus on climate, we have extended the scope from smart to sustainable cities. And Gérard is ready to explain first the ambition and the mobilization of French company to support these investments. And with the speed of urbanization in India, it's really of utmost priority, because you will welcome hundreds of million people in new cities to be developed in the next 10, 20 years. And I lead another stream which is centered on the hydrogen investment future, because like a lot of countries, France invests in hydrogen, and we have a set of capabilities and investors. We all heard of Total Energy working with Adani on that, but beyond that, there are a lot of French players that have chosen to invest. And with the Indian ambition, we were exposed to the Indian ambition in hydrogen production. First hybrid, but then blended, as we say, and then progressively green hydrogen. That second stream is focused on that. So here we are ready to talk about these two centers of interest, but more generally, by the presence here, we want to show and first understand the potential of Telangana and the aspiration you have to extend investment of any kind, French investment today in this region and this city. And I just can testify as an investor here that it is certainly a very appealing location because we find the talent here. We, Capgemini, it's more a people business, it's about talent, and we find the people and the talent here. For us, it's really what we need to produce, but we have found the environment in terms of lodging, in terms of real estate to implement, and in terms of logistic and transportation. So I'm really happy that we lead this delegation here in Telangana and Hyderabad. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for bringing your own Capgemini experiences with Hyderabad into your comments. I would now request His Excellency the Ambassador to deliver his remarks.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Principal Secretary, for welcoming us. It's important. We have a very nice business delegation coming from Paris, and when we decided on the trip, it was obvious we were going to come to Hyderabad. We strongly believe in the potential of the city, and it was important that they connect with your team and yourself, because we feel that's the most pro-business team we have in India, and it's conducive to business and easy to make business. French company, large French companies have already bet on your city, on Telangana. This morning we inaugurated jointly the second smart factory of Schneider. Their third factory is here. We just visited also a factory that you have inaugurated for Safran, and opening a huge MRO center in 2025. Such companies as Sanofi and others have also big plans in this state. So we feel it was very important that we meet. As I told them, it's very pro-business, and you deliver, and with your team. And thank you also to the Principal Secretary, also President of the Alliance Française, so very close to our country. And thank you for all the good jobs. I think today you have all the talents around the table to work and to help tackle the challenges of the city, of the state, in terms of sustainable city, and that's very important, hydrogen for sure. And also you want to build an aeronautics cluster, and I think some company like Safran obviously will be also there to support. So thank you very much, and I think I should leave the floor so that our companies can exchange directly with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. I would also like to acknowledge that this visit has been supported extensively by the consulate, the French consulate in Bangalore. I would like to acknowledge the help provided by the Consul General, Mr. Thierry Barthelot. Also acknowledge the presence of the new economic counselor in Bangalore in the consulate, Mr. Bertrand Divone, and also Hemangani, who has been liaising with us for more than a month to make this trip a success. So thank you everyone once again, and I would now request Honorable Minister to make his presentation.
Thank you, Jayesh. Firstly, I'd like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of France to India, Mr. Emmanuel Lenoir. Of course, the Consul General, Mr. Thierry. And Paul, thank you for sharing the good news with us that we have just crossed Mumbai. But I think we still have Bangalore in sight. We have to, between the two of us, we need to conspire and possibly beat Bangalore ASAP. Thank you also to my team here, Vishnu, and the entire team of directors who are participating. And I would also like to thank the entire team of MEDEF, because our first meeting back in the day in Paris, with MEDEF was extremely encouraging. And to see that now it is materialized into a trip, right after we come out of this pandemic, is even more assuring of your commitment, of your interest. And it's very encouraging for us to see such a large delegation coming to visit us. And thank you also for bringing rain to Hyderabad, because normally this is not the time it rains, but now our weather has also become very much like English weather. And unfortunately, we don't know when to carry an umbrella and when not to. So I'm blaming it on you, the delegation who's come all the way from Paris. Yes, before I move on and talk about anything else, the fact that these changes in weather, the fact that these changes in climate are now real, when we used to hear, when I was a student a long time back, And when we used to hear about climate change and global warming, it seemed like a distant reality. But now when we see all these unseasonal things happening, it doesn't seem so distant anymore. It's real, it's imminent, it's immediate. So the whole concept of sustainability is something that is extremely uh, important, and that's extremely, in fact, real. And the solutions we are looking for are immediate and not in the distant future. So that's extremely important from our perspective as well. Our priorities are aligned. Before we move forward, let me just have you look at the screen for a minute. These 6 different things that you see on the screen sort of symbolize, what Hyderabad and Telangana is really. These 6 buildings that you see, you will start with the one right on the bottom right-hand corner, the Charminar. The 4 minars that you see there. This was a monument that was built in 1591, the 15th century. It's already more than 430 plus year-old monument, and it symbolizes, the time when Hyderabad was initially founded back in the 1500s. And it's a symbol. It's a huge tourist attraction to this city, and many of the tourists that visit our city pay a visit. And the reason why we wanted to put it out there is because Hyderabad really is a city that has got history, that has got culture, that has got heritage, and that also has new age, vibrant infrastructure that you would see on the screen. Right on top of Charminar, you see the building with twin towers. Is our ultra-modern, one of its kind police command control centers. In fact, it has been inaugurated recently, and it's a 24-storied building, one of its kind in India for the law and order machinery and for the government machinery, wherein all disaster management protocols can be observed and can be followed from one single roof, with all departments, all government agencies working together. And to the extreme left, you would see on top is the building called as the T-Hub, which is in fact second only to Station F in terms of its size. It's the 2nd largest incubator in the world. It has more than 2,000 startups working from under its roof, and it is what has made Hyderabad really a significant force to reckon with on the innovation ecosystem in India. And of course, right below it is our own version of INSEAD, the Indian School of Business. How popular INSEAD is, we all know. Our own version in India of INSEAD is the Indian School of Business, which was set up in a collaborative fashion between the industry, the government, and academia. So the Wharton School of Business, the University of Pennsylvania School, Wharton is part of it. Kellogg's is also part of it. And then we also had the industry participating in it. And it's something that we are truly proud of because it is the best Indian business school in the country. Yes, we still want INSEAD. Absolutely. In fact, I was insisting that, we get, and by the way, you promised, do not forget. The ambassador promised, and he's on record now. What you see in between Charminar and the Indian School of Business down below is the world's largest campus of Amazon. Amazon's largest campus in the world is not in Seattle. It is actually in Hyderabad. It's a 3.1 million square foot campus. And Paul, I have to tell you this. I want to rub this in a bit. Amazon has about 55,000 people working from Hyderabad. So yeah, Paul, we have some catching up to do. And right on top of that is, of course, our little bridge that we've built on a nice little place here. But I'm mighty impressed by what I saw in Paris on the River Seine, the kind of bridges that you've built. Now, I've sent my entire team of engineers from here just to have them study how beautifully, how aesthetically, all these bridges are done up. So I'm trying to recreate little itsy-bitsy pieces of that in Hyderabad as well. So I'm extremely, extremely impressed. That was my first visit to Paris. I have to be candid and I have to admit. So I fell in love with the city, and I was telling Ambassador that he has to find me enough reasons to send me back ASAP, without my boss really complaining about it. So that's the 6 images I want to talk about quickly. Let me move on. All right, so just quickly giving you idea on what Telangana is about, etc., and how, what are the opportunities in Telangana for you to look at. Telangana, if you look at it as a state, India as a country, is a large country. It's a 1.4 billion population. Telangana is, in fact, a mid-sized state. We are 11th largest in terms of geographical size, and we are the 12th largest in terms of population in India. Our population is roughly about 35 million. I think this is a bit dated, so it would be about 40 million is what I would like to think. Our area, the GSDP of Telangana is something that, again, is slightly more than what is shown. It's about $180 billion now, and our per capita is one of the highest in the country. In fact, we've had a fantastic story, in terms of the growth that has happened in the last decade or so, particularly the last 8 years. The state of Telangana came into being. It has been formed as a new state about 8 years ago in June 2014. And our per capita, as you can see on the slide, has risen by more than 130%. Our GSDP, the gross state domestic product, has also increased by more than 125%. Our IT exports, in fact, have risen by more than 240%. And our installed power capacity has nearly doubled. Our irrigation area, the land that we irrigate under agriculture, has also more than doubled. So it's a phenomenal story where you have both industry, agriculture, where you have IT exports, where you also have environment, everything being taken care of in a very holistic, in a very totalitarian fashion. Like I was pointing out, agriculture grew at 9.1% in the last year alone. Industries, 20.2%. Services sector also grew by 18.3%. That goes to show you that it's a state which kind of has prioritized and balanced very well in terms of its primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Let me also quickly add some very interesting things that we have done in terms of policy interventions, where we support our farmers through some unique DBT initiatives. We also provide life insurance to all of our 3.1+ million farmers. We have a fabulous food processing policy that takes care of all the value additions that need to happen beyond the harvest. And we've also, in fact, you may be surprised to learn this. If you don't believe me, since I'm a politician, sometimes, politicians tend to exaggerate things. I'm sure that's the case in France as well. Are you kidding me? You're, okay. Okay, the French politicians are different, maybe, I don't know. But I'm saying, I'm going to make a statement and you can double check me, you can do a fact check. The world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project, which costed us more than 1 lakh crores in Indian rupees, which roughly translates to almost, I'd say about $15 billion, has been completed. The world's largest project has been completed by the government of Telangana flat in 4 years. And this is a project called, as mentioned out there, Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project. You can Google it. You can just type in Google, the world's largest lift irrigation. You would see this pop up. We've completed this flat in 4 years. We lift water from 82 meters above sea level, and through a multi-stage lifting system, we bring it all the way to 618 meters. This project irrigates more than 4 million acres of land. And this also provides drinking water to the city of Hyderabad and a number of other towns and villages in between. And this has also created a wealth of opportunities in aquaculture, in pisciculture, and it has also given us the ability to attract some of the largest names in food processing industries such as Coca-Cola. In India we have ITC, Mars of course, and Woodrow Monet, and then RPSG and Hartson and other large companies. Now, Telangana, for those of you who are possibly new to Hyderabad or first-time visitors to India, let me tell you, Hyderabad is an IT super hub in India and across the world as well. I just mentioned Amazon to you, that they have their largest campus in the world in Hyderabad. And if you look at the slide, you would also see Google, you would see Microsoft, you would see Meta, you would see Qualcomm, you would see Uber, Salesforce, all of these companies, without an exception, and Apple. Most of you use iPhones, I presume. All of these companies have their second largest campus in the world in Hyderabad, outside of their headquarters in the world in Hyderabad. And Capgemini, as Paul just pointed out, also has a significant base. We are now the second largest base in India for Capgemini. Schneider Electric, in fact, we just broke ground this morning. Their largest factory in India, out of the 32 factories they have, will also be located in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad is also a powerhouse in life sciences. And what am I saying? You know, 9 billion doses of vaccines are produced, human vaccines, are produced from Hyderabad every single year. This accounts to 1/3 of global vaccine production. So literally, the next time a kid in France is getting a vaccine shot, there's 1 in 3 chance that it could have been made in Hyderabad. So that's the kind of strength I'm talking about. We have Sanofi, of course, who manufactures vaccines also from Hyderabad. We have some world-class companies like Novartis, GSK, Syngene, Dr. Reddy's, and Biological E. And while we are on this slide, let me also point out that Novartis, their second largest campus again in the world, is also in Hyderabad. Outside of Basel in Switzerland, the second largest campus of Novartis with more than 9,000 people is also in Hyderabad. And let me also add quickly, Novartis is not into pure play research and development. What they do in Hyderabad is digital drug discovery. What they do in Hyderabad is basically the intersection of technology and biology. That's where we have number of biostatisticians, number of bioinformatics people. We also have number of biomedical engineers and IT professionals working from Hyderabad, making it their second largest base in the world. We are also, as Ambassador eloquently pointed out, one of the most important hubs in India for aerospace and defense. And recently, we've had a great success with Safran coming in and launching their engine MRO facility with a large investment. Not just Safran, but we also have Boeing, GE, Thales, Raytheon, Alcon, Lockheed Martin, and plenty of others also who are not named here. And I must also add, there is a reason why Hyderabad is a hub for aerospace and defense. And the reason is, historically, about 5 decades ago, Hyderabad was home to large number of defense public sector undertakings and defense labs, which spawned out, which created more than 1,000 MSMEs. And some of the MSMEs from Hyderabad even supply, parts to, your submarine in France, the Scorpion. So that's the kind of, spectrum in aerospace and defense that we are looking at. We are also, very, very big hub for electronics. In fact, 1 out of the 5 television sets manufactured in India is from Hyderabad. We also have a number of other very interesting and large multinational companies like Micron, Qualcomm. In fact, Micron and Qualcomm, their second largest headquarters in the world is also in Hyderabad. NVIDIA, Intel, OnePlus, and others were all based out of Hyderabad again. So why Telangana? Of course, besides the pro-business policies of the government, let me tell you a few other things. The thing that you see on top right here is the TSI pass. What does it stand for? What it stands for is it's a piece of legislation that we have enacted about 8 years ago. It stands for the Telangana State Industrial Project Approval Self-Certification System. Literally, it's like when you pass through a toll gate on a highway, you have an easy pass and a fast tag. So we have modeled our industrial policy on such, ease of doing business and ease of entry. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, if a French business such as Schneider, who broke ground this morning, wanted to set up a factory in Telangana, you actually do not need to take a clearance from the government whatsoever. You do not need a permission from the government. You can self-certify. You can basically claim that I am going to be in compliance with the law of the land in Telangana, and I'm starting my factory on day 1. You can hit the ground running. So Schneider, this morning when they broke ground, they did not need to take any clearance from us. No clearance from the state government needed, no clearance from the local municipality needed, no clearance needed from the local village. Why do we do this? Because we believe that if you cut down the gestation period, in terms of, if you cut down the lag in terms of clearances, etc., businesses can move quick and they would save cost and they would save time. But we, of course, request the businesses that once they break ground, they can simultaneously put in a piece of paper or put in an application online on the TS iPass portal. What do we do when we receive it? We process all applications in a time-bound fashion. We promise all clearances as per law in 15 days, as per legislation, as per law. If we don't deliver on the 15-day window, on the 16th day, it's an automatic approval. It's an automatic yes. No state in India will tell you this, including Gujarat, which is where Prime Minister Modi is from, by the way. You know it, of course. The other thing I also wanted to point out, this man here, my friend Jayesh Ranjan, is one of the most efficient, one of the most senior bureaucrats in India. He's a 1992 batch Indian Administrative Service officer. But even he's not exempt from a penalty of rupees 1,000 per day if he holds up any clearance in this process. No state again in India will tell you this. We take accountability very seriously. And let me also tell you, Jayesh has not been fined till now, in case you're wondering. Not only Jayesh, but any of my team, if they're held responsible for holding up a clearance, they will be penalized. And we have the power to penalize by law. In case you're thinking, okay, is this guy just saying a lot of fluff, or does it actually work? In the last 8 years, since we actually passed this legislation, we have given clearances to more than 20,000 units. And we've been able to raise an investment of more than 32 billion US dollars. And we have been able to create direct employment potential to more than 1.6 million youngsters. So that is how well Telangana has been working in the last 8 years. And the last thing I'll say on this slide, of course, we have sectoral policies, we have separate policies for sustainability, we have policies on energy storage, and we have policies on green hydrogen, we have policies on each and every sector, textiles, food processing, electronics, etc. But what makes Telangana extremely attractive is not only do we have easy clearances and a policy in place, we also provide you some of the best infrastructure in India. Just this morning, in fact, right after I met the ambassador, I met a minister from another state in India. I would not name names and I would not like to badmouth them. So when I was asking the minister from another state in India as to what policies they have to promote textiles, she said, we actually offer inverters and generators and a rebate on them. So I told the minister, why would you need to provide an inverter or a generator when you can actually solve the problem with electricity and provide quality uninterrupted power supply? So that's exactly what Telangana does. We provide quality power supply, we provide water, we provide land at a reasonable cost, and we provide all clearances in a time-bound fashion. And most importantly, we provide talented human resources. And we have the ability to attract the most talented human resources from across India, from across the world as well. And that's why you have all these companies having their second largest and first largest offices and campuses right here. And that's why you have Paul, who has 30,000 plus people working in Capgemini from Hyderabad. And the last thing I'll tell you, in case you're exploring India, like Paul said and like Ambassador said, typically the route people take is Delhi, Mumbai, sometimes Bangalore. But if you're willing to share with me, if you're an investor, if you're looking to invest in Indian states, and if you're willing to share with me the offer you have from any of my competition, we will either meet it or beat it. That's how agile we are. That's how quick and that's how decisive my state is. And the other thing I quickly wanted to point out, I talked about Station F and T-Hub. It's not just one hub that will create an innovation ecosystem. These are all the institutions that we have created in the last 8 years, which have put Telangana on the innovation map of India and also by extension on the innovation map of the world. T-Hub is the world's largest innovation campus, second largest incubator after Station F. We also catch our youngsters very young in a school age. So that is what the Telangana State Innovation Cell does. We have an exclusive women entrepreneurs hub called as V-Hub. We have India's largest prototyping facility called as T-Works to bring about collaboration between academia and industry. We have RICH, which is Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad. The last thing I'll talk about is the Emerging Technologies Wing, which has its eyes and goals set on what sweeping changes are happening across the world in technology, robotics, IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, etc., crypto, etc., etc. More than 6,600 startups already in Telangana, and the combined ecosystem value is almost $750 million, and we have more than 40 plus incubators, a number of unicorns from Telangana, and we continue to believe that number is only going to grow and become more and more robust. This is important because I was talking about INSEAD, but we have our own brilliant institutions like ISB, the IIIT, IIT Hyderabad, number of other institutions. In fact, one of the UN organizations whose world headquarters is also here. It's called ICRISAT, International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. Their world headquarters is right here. It's a large campus. And then there are a number of other institutions which continue to provide talented human resources for you to continue to thrive doing your business. It is, in fact, Mercer, an agency that rates cities on the livability index, has consistently over the last 5 years, 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. They have not done the rankings in 20 and 21 for COVID, but 5 years in a row among all Indian cities, Hyderabad has been rated as the #1 city with the best quality of living. On the momentum index, on the global momentum index, JLL has ranked us as the most dynamic city in 2018 and 20, second most in 2019, and 5th in 2017. We're bang in the middle of the country. In India, geographically, we are centrally located. We're equally well connected to the rest of the country. And Ambassador Lenoir has also promised me a direct flight to Paris soon. So I think, Air France, once they get Airbus, giving them more planes.
Maybe 2 flights a week.
That would be very nice. Maybe 2 flights a week is what he said. I'm not joking, by the way. We will get you that direct connectivity. In fact, we have a promise from Union Minister for Civil Aviation that he will get, us more direct flights. We have a direct flight opening up to Amsterdam soon, KLM. We also have, hopefully, with Ambassador's blessings and support, we'll have a direct flight to Paris as well. All right, so what are the opportunities, for you, for those of you who are looking at Telangana? Let me quickly tell you, we have multiple opportunities in multiple sectors. We also collaborate very closely with academic institutions across the world. For the world's largest pharma city, okay, all well? All right. The world's largest pharma city that we're building, it's called Hyderabad Pharma City. We have collaborated with King's College London because we want to set up a life sciences ecosystem with robust educational facilities. So we have collaborated with them, and we are looking to set up a university in life sciences. We have collaborated with Deakins in Australia with the National Center for Additive Manufacturing. We also have an MOU with Thailand, to promote food processing. Likewise, of course, we work with all different agencies. In fact, Sumit and his Payal and their team had hosted us in Paris last year. We are thankful to you, Sumit and Payal, for hosting us, IFCCI Investment Conclave in 2021 in October. And it was a delight to also speak at the French Senate. Thank you very much for the honor as well. And we also participate in a number of other events like the Dubai Expo and other things. And of course, we have a host of our own events in Hyderabad. In fact, we would be the first Indian city to be hosting Formula E in February 2023. So talking about sustainability, I'm going to be doing an EV summit around the event, and we will be doing a number of, very, very interesting events on sustainability. Our director, Automobile, is right here. He can share more details with you on that. And of course, Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Bodo office in Hyderabad, we work very, very closely with all these organizations so we can further your business interests in my city and my state. Well, that was my quick 5 to 10 minute thing, and the floor is open to any comments, questions, suggestions, and